So in this video, I want to talk about the recent episode of Mushoku Tensei and the confrontation between Rudy and the Beast Girls, because the confrontation between them was quite an interesting one. This was something that I knew that was coming for quite a while, and I knew it was going to cause controversy because of Rudy's love and respect, and a little bit of a zealous respect towards Roxy, and how he responds to that situation and how he deals with it. Now, there's been this whole argument about Rudy being in the right and the wrong, and there's been people defending Rudy's behavior and people getting very angry at Rudy's behavior, but I also think some people are taking what Rudy did and completely twisting the facts of the reality because they lack any IQ intelligence above that of a goldfish. And I'm going to be very harsh here because I think it is stupid that I have to explain the most basic of concepts of human nature to a bunch of people that clearly are either illiterate or just too stupid to actually use any common sense. This is a story about human nature. It's about humans making human mistakes, human flaws. Yes, if you want to watch Teletubbies, go right ahead and go watch that. But if you can't watch something that requires an IQ intelligence above that of a goldfish, then I suggest go watching Teletubbies. Because if you can't handle it, I suggest going making content on that rather than making cheap, shitty TikTok videos of web novel Wikipedia information and taking things out of context and going, oh, well, this is what happened in the web novel, so this is why the story is bad. It's called a web novel. It's called an outlier. I could sit there and poke holes at many other web novels from many other isekais that have some really weird stuff in it that ended up getting scratched because the author was not happy with the overall product in the web novel. It's why many web novels are changed quite vastly to the actual source material, which is the light novel. Mushoku Tensei, the anime, is based on a light novel. Now, there has been some differences between the anime and the light novel, and that's always going to happen. There is a manga. The manga is vastly different in many different aspects, and many things have kind of been shuffled around. So using the manga as a source material, no. And using the web novel as a source material, no. Now, there are many things that are similar from the anime to the web novel, but there are also many things that are different from the web novel to the anime. So I want to be very clear there, because I've seen too many lazy content creators and YouTubers, lazy YouTubers, that use the web novel as their source material as a cheap gimmick to make complaint videos. If you're doing that, you're just proving that you are lazy and a bad content creator, but I'd prefer you actually do something where you actually sound somewhat more intelligent rather than sounding like a buffoon, making a complete fool out of the entire YouTube community, because some of us like to have intellectual conversations rather than wasting my time after coming back from surgery having to deal with infinite little children on TikTok and YouTube that cannot read or comprehend basic literature. So let's go down into the episode itself. Let's explain what happens first, and then I will go over the pros and the cons of the actual episode itself. So Rudy is upset about the damage that is done to the figure that Xanaba possessed. It has been destroyed, and Rudy is quite angry. He takes it upon himself, along with Xanaba and a certain pupil, to come along and witness Rudy taking the girls on, and Xanaba assists. And what does he do? He provokes them. He uses his knowledge of the beast girls from the beast tribe to get under their skin. Now, I've seen people complain that that's racist. He's not being racist, he's just using anything at his disposal of his knowledge about the girls. That does not inherently make him racist. I have people all the time complain about little things about me as an individual. It doesn't make them predatory against those individuals, it's just them being a douche. It's just human nature. When we are angry at something, or we want to lash out at something or be malicious, you will use the first thing you can find. You look at their appearance and you go, and you find the first thing. And in this case, Rudy looked at their speech and kind of mocked their speech because that was the easy thing to get under their skin, because they are princesses. They're at an academy, a prestige academy, and they're meant to be speaking quite fluent for who they are. But of course, Rudy mocks them for that because he knew that would get under their skin. These are delinquents as noted in the light novels. A thing to also note is that these are also bullies. They have bullied people throughout the academy. They're known for being bullies, so Rudy is bullying the bullies in a sense. Does that make that right? That is up for you to decide, the individual. But I want to lay the facts out that Rudy is simply trying to get under their skin, and he is using any methods at his disposal. He is not sitting there going, I dislike the Beast Tribe. No, He has a lot of respect and love for the Beast Tribe. He learnt the language for a reason. It doesn't mean that he hates it, he just knew how to get under their skin because that's what he wanted to do. He was angry. Which, in his mind, he was in the right to being angry, but he clearly allowed those emotions and he used that to his advantage to aggravate them to make the first attack. Clear stating facts right there. If you can't understand that, go watch a kid's show. After that, he ties them up, he takes them back to the room, and he ends up interrogating them. He ends up grabbing one of the girls in the chest region to check if his lower region is still functioning. Is he in the wrong for doing that? Yeah, he's doing something inappropriate. There's no need to defend that, because he is in the wrong. He's done something inappropriate, that is that. He's been stupid. That's called human nature, doing stupid things. Congratulations, you've now just learnt what a human is. Sometimes I think people on this internet are either AI or incapable of self-reflection. So he does that, he then interrogates them, yells at them, ends up going to Fitz for information and leaves them for a while. They end up needing to go to the toilet, and because they can't, they just end up doing it in the room. Him and Fitz clean the room up, and that's when they have their little squabble, their little back and forth, and basically the Beast Girls surrender and they go, yep, we serve you, boss man, and that drama is dealt with. It's pretty straightforward, cut and dry. The main drama comes down to Rudy trying to get under their skin and how people are trying to twist that into some race-type baiting thing, and then also the fact that Rudy did grab one of the girls by the chest. Yes, why he did it, it's simple to understand. Should have he done it? No, he shouldn't have. It's inappropriate. But that is the point of the story. It's meant to be comedic in itself, showing just how ridiculous the girls are and how ridiculous he is and how overzealous he is of his reverence and worship of Roxy. But it also emphasizes even further about his issues down below as well, his ED issues. So that is the point of what it's trying to explain. As far as the cut content goes, the cut content itself is just explaining the backstory of the Beast Girls and how they are seen as delinquents in the school, how they allowed their position as princesses to get to their head, and they've become bullies themselves, and they've run into confrontation between the princess and Fitz in previous situations, which is why they do not like Fitz, because they are scared of Fitz, but they don't respect Fitz because they don't like the princess, and so there's been a bit of issues between those two parties. But Rudy ends up bringing them down a peg or two, and they end up deciding to basically serve the boss man, Rudy himself, because they are beast people and they respect strength, and they see Rudy as very strong and capable, as Rudy has beaten Fitz in a duel, so they see Rudy as the top dog, as the fun way to put it. So that is why they call him the boss man, and they clearly are now following his orders at the end of the episode. I'm not going to spoil what happens further on, because that's not what I'm here for, simply explaining the situation. Is Rudy in the wrong? I leave that up to you, the individual, to decide in your final response, but I will give my own response and say that yes, Rudy is in the wrong. But there's nothing to defend, and there's nothing really to add other than just, yeah, Rudy responded very zealously, did some crazy stuff, but that's the point of the episode, is to show his overzealous worship of Roxy and how far he was willing to go in his reverence or worship of Roxy. I don't see a point in defending it, because it is what it is. It's there to emphasize a point of the story, a narrative of the story. People saying that it shouldn't exist are the same people that then complain that cardboard cutout default isekais are boring because there's nothing interesting in them, and then want interesting stuff, and then you get interesting stuff, and then you complain the same way. It's why I keep making those videos, doomed if you do, doomed if you don't, because these people are hypocrites. These content creators are hypocrites. They want something to whine about, so they take things out of context, they go to the Wikipedia, they go to cheap clickbait articles, and they take things out of context and twist it to make a cheap narrative. At the end of the day, I suggest people actually go to content creators to actually consume the content, that actually read the source material, that actually pay attention to the anime, rather than lazy content creators. I'm sure we're going to be having this discussion in future episodes with other stuff as well. There's also the previous episode. At the end of the day, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Any and all thoughts are generally welcome, as long as they're not lying, twisting facts, etc. So again, if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.